right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. The conversation on youth and governance kicks off right here on Daybreak, and my guests are with me already in studio. Samuel Okello, concerned citizen, a very regular contributor to Citizen TV's Daybreak show. He calls himself Okello Mwalimu online. And so we have Jackson Kuria, former police officer, aka the cop. You remember him from carrying the placard and then he lost his job. He says he's still a police officer, except he's been interdicted. We also have Peter Malale, climate change lead at SMARCS Foundation. Thank you very much for making time. Kelvin Ayodi is here, governance commentator, and Eugene Oponyo, founder Wazalendo Movement. Thank you all for making time. And we were talking about this issue of whether the government is heading in the right direction or not. And now I'll bring in Peter on this. Peter, do you support the broad-based government?
Yeah, for me, I support the broad-based government because as the way I had stated as I started my remarks at the start, is that we have started a new phase. We're in a new phase, a new dispensation of working. And I believe that the reshuffle, the CSS, they will now work because, number one, they know that there is that accountable way of doing their things, and if they are not able to deliver, then it becomes a very big challenge for them to continue serving Kenyans. Yeah. So, and in line now with what my colleagues have been talking about, issues on youths, number one, a good dancer will know when to leave the stage. So for the Gen Zs, yes, they have had peaceful and they have demonstrated their rights, but it's also very good to be very objective in our operations and to see on how now, what next? What is the next objective? What is the next strategy, the next agenda? We have demonstrated, the government is ready to listen to us, reforms have actually come, changes have been made. So we are the sitting table, but we have refused to go to the table.
Okay.
So, and
so what does the table look like for young people in your view? What should they now do?
Opportunities, how can we create opportunities? Maybe we identify opportunities in these spaces because, number one, we cannot be absorbed, all of us, in government as young people. So the thing is, how can we bring out those opportunities created by young people? We are very creative people. Innovation in the agricultural spaces. The world is now talking about climate change. Climate finance is the discussion of every place, every corner of the world. So how can we bring these opportunities to the grassroots, to these people? How can we create these opportunities for the young people? So number one is to be very, very much objective. We have to know what next after everything.
But this is what they're saying, that the condition is not conducive enough for them to thrive.
So which conditions are not conducive? They have been called upon to have meetings and deliberations, but they have said they are leaderless, they are fearless. Now at the end of the day, will we just be going to the streets to riot, to demonstrate? What is the end goal of this demonstration? You see? So one of the end goals should be creating opportunities, and that is now the direction that we need to take as young people. We have ideas, we have projects, you see? So how can these projects get the attention of government? You see? If possibly, probably in the agriculture space, we have so many creative young people who can present their ideas and the government can support to some extent. Okay. So those are the kind of things that we need to have. That is the kind of engagements that we need to have as young people.
Okay. Yes. Kelvin, the president calls this broad-based government one selfless patriotic team, yes, that will unlock the potential of the country. Do you agree?
I partly agree and I partly disagree. Let me start with agreeing. We've seen that the president has selected presumably the best people based on how they argued in parliament to serve in his cabinet. Let's take an example for the CS cabinet for treasury. The way he even presented his facts during the vetting at the parliament, you would see that this is the person who knows what he can do in this ministry. Take an example of Honorable Paranya and Mbadi. So you could see even how they were arguing in parliament, including even our millennial Eric. They presented good views that you can see if actually they can implement what they are saying, then the country can head towards a positive direction, and maybe they could bring the change we are looking for. Now, on the part of disagreeing, The part of disagreeing comes in whereby now these people, yes, they are experts, like Raila said, but can they do anything that the president is not comfortable with? So for them to succeed again, now it depends with what the president wants. So they might come up with good policies that can change the country. They come with good policies maybe to make our economy move to the next step. But now if the president disagrees with, let's say, the policies that Mbadi comes with at the treasury, then it means Mbadi cannot implement those policies. Then that one renders Mbadi as useless when he is actually useful. So everything goes back to the president. Now that's why we are saying that as a young people, we should come up with clear objectives that can compel the president to make these CSS actually perform according to their ability. Let them be given a room, let them be given a conducive environment so that they can serve to the best of their ability, not to the best of the interest of the few. Yes. Okay, so what would be the objective at this particular point? So the objective right now we can look forward to is, for example, we know there are many things. As a country, we do have bad priorities first and then good priorities last. Good priorities like hiring the JSS teachers, we find that maybe it's not really concerning many leaders at the moment. But we look like we have already funds to hold a concert to stand in solidarity with Haiti. So is that a priority? I was seeing also another budget that was being allocated to recently to buy flowers at the State House. Is that a priority? So the priorities we have right now, they are not really conducive. So as young people, we need to come up with strategies to see how we can make the government, how we can make the president at least do the right thing and not what few people want. Now, when we look at the example of him dropping the finance bill and then him sending his cabinet home, it is actually an indication that if you give him pressure, he can work. So as young people, we can take that as an advantage. Something that we believe is bad to us, something that is making our economy go down. Let's put pressure to him and he will work. Actually, if he actually sends the cabinet home, then there is high chance that if you give him pressure to these bad vices, then he will change. Rather than saying, let him go home. Okay, if he goes home, what is the better option? Okay. Let's agree that, let's say now we have agreed that now Ruto go home. Then fresh election. Eugene, do you support the broad-based government first of all?
Yeah, I do support the broad-based cabinet. You know, I've seen people trying to pull the Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga into the mud, saying he's an opportunist to take the advantage of the young people's protests. When Baba said there are no protests, you can see how disorganized the protests were since he said, let's embrace dialogue. So I do support the broad-based cabinet because we all want everyone to be in the cabinet. In fact, if I had a chance, I could have told the president at least one minister to come from each tribe, not like to have two people from the same tribe just because maybe they voted or whichever. That will have gone a long way. But then I'll say this, Trevor. Kenyans have turned out to be complainers and not solution-oriented. Majority of Kenyans, if you even go on X right now, or any other online app, you will see them complaining on what has not been done. You will not see the majority of the tweets being pushed out on what we intend to do or what the government has done. For instance, when the president came out clearly and said, we are going to Haiti to help the people of Haiti get their freedom back, we said no. We said our police are going to be killed. But you can see recently, even the leader of the gangs from Haiti, Barbecue, is already asking for negotiations, meaning we don't believe in our police officers. We don't believe in our own institutions. But think of a point whereby Kenyans become optimistic to a point that they know the president is doing something right for the country. The president is not doing this for the sake of his own household. He has said the president is a liar. This is a perception in people's mind. The president is not a liar as people say. The reason why I'm saying he's not a liar as the people have perceived him is, this is someone who comes to update us on the issues or the meetings he has held with the stakeholders of that day. So if he says, we have had a meeting with the president of the United States of America and we have agreed on security issues, that is a fact. But people look at it from, you just lying, unatuambia stories za jaba. But look at it keenly. In the sub-Saharan Africa, there is no a major and NATO ally in this region. But the president traveled to the US. Instead of the Kenyans of goodwill looking at it like this is someone who has gone out of his extra time to focus on the security issues, to focus on the healthcare. If you look at the bilateral agreements, they are focusing on the healthcare, they are focusing on the security, they are focusing on the sports and the creative economy. But the Kenyans have tried to look at the negativity side of the president. They don't want to look at anything positive from the president. Look at the affordable housing, a very good project. All of us, majority of the people in this city live in slums. Majority of the people in this city are struggling to pay rent. Majority of people in this city, they can't even fend for themselves. Okay. But when the president comes up with an affordable housing project, we are the first one to say, no, we don't want houses. We already have our ushagos. Yes, we already have our ushagos, but you don't stay there. You stay in this city. If you stay in this city, if they tell you to go live in Kibera, you bring a lot of backlash. There are people in Kibera who have not seen clean water. There are people in Kibera who have not slept in a house that has a toilet. But when the president says, let us change this and build more houses, we say no, he is lying.
But look for that finance bill, the Finance Act itself of 2023 was rendered unconstitutional by the courts.
It was rendered unconstitutional, and that is another hindrance we need to look at it. The judiciary knows very well constitutionally the president is in office for 5 years. So each and every project the president has put forward, they have put on a caveat. They have come up with orders just because to slow down the presidency. We know very well it is only 5 years. After 5 years, these guys, just a minute, Trevor, I finish my trail of thought. After 5 years, these guys will come calling. They are already calling. Look at it. The other day, the president commissioned 18,000 young people, agripreneurs. This country, or rather the African continent, depends on agriculture. Agriculture is the backbone. But we young people would rather be on the streets demonstrating than go out there and do agriculture, than go out there and plant trees, than go out there and advocate for climate financing. What the president has been doing, we say the president has been out there traveling. He has been a tourist. But look at it keenly. This is someone who has gone out to seek for jobs for us young people. He has gone out and asked the nurses to go to Saudi Arabia. How many? We were given more than 2,000 positions. How many actually went? So as much as we want to complain as young people, we need to be solution oriented. Okay. And being solution oriented doesn't mean you look at someone from a pessimistic point of view. We need to be optimistic. We need to look at this country like we are the ones wasting time going to the streets. Okay. Because majority of the people in the millennials or the X generation, they are employed. Okay. But majority of us, we are not employed. Right. And we cannot be employed on the streets. Okay. We would rather waste that time in the farms tilling land to a point we bring more foods to this country.
Okay, Oyodi, I know you want to respond, but let me bring in Samuel first. Write it down. I'll give you a chance to respond to what
okay. Thank you, Trevor. So one thing, first of all, before I talk about whether I support or not, I would like to make one thing very clear. That personally, I may not like the president or what he does, but it's also good at times to be very truthful and to analyze the situation based on our past and what's happening currently. So I didn't vote for him. That one is very clear. But it is very unfortunate. On a lighter note, those who voted for President Ruto are angrier than those who didn't. So they're more frustrated than the lot, like some of us. And I've always been very persistent on this, and I've been very consistent that I've been supporting, even from the tweets that have been read on in this studio, I've been supporting the Gen Z protests. But now it reaches a point, like my brother said, a good dancer would automatically know when to stop, to leave the stage. So it has reached a point where we must now focus. We must now start giving alternatives. Like we have a cabinet that has been sworn in. I know I have a lot of respect for John Mbadi. He's very competent. He's an economist. If you listen to him, his contribution to the floor of the House, he's very passionate about the matters economy. So just to urge, now these are the alternatives we are talking about, that I'm about to give one. The government should know that it cannot create enough jobs for everybody. But what we are calling for is a conducive environment. We want a conducive environment that will enable somebody in Lokichar, in Siaya, in Embu, to be able to do their businesses, create jobs for themselves, without, let's say, paying, without a lot of, incurring a lot of costs. The government should lower, through Mbadi now, lower the taxes, the VAT, for instance. Let them lower that so that people can find it easier to establish businesses. But I was very frustrated when I heard Deputy President talking about certain counties. I don't know, nimewangangania, nimewaletea CS, sijui kutoka Meru, sijui kutoka Tharaka Nithi. So that's not, we don't expect that from a national leader, like a Deputy President. So it doesn't inspire hope in very competent people, let's say from those regions that were not mentioned. So what these leaders should know now is let them work for us without inclining towards particular tribes.
Okay.
If somebody wants to be, to maybe fight for the rights of a particular tribe, then they rather resign from public offices and go work as chiefs or whatever. Because in those regions, when they work as chiefs or governors, they will be serving a particular region. But once you become a deputy president, you should now start serving the entire country without biasness.
Yeah.
So what we are calling up for is just a conducive environment. We are living in a society where bribes rule, bribery. You establish a business, a small business, like you want to sell gas cylinder, you want to supply, and then every day you are harassed by the police. That I don't know, toa barua, wanakuuliza EPRA, siji toa. But now, I have a lot of respect for police officers because I have so many friends who are police officers. But I don't know whether it is the low pay. The government should look into the salary of the police officers, because that's another area through which business people are being exploited. So that's what we are looking for. We want a conducive working environment, respect for properties, and national leaders should serve as role models.
Okay.
And inspire hope.
Yeah, Jackson, do you agree with what Eugene is saying, that somehow the young people just seem to complain, but they don't want to come up with their own solutions? Are they pulling their own weight? Kuna venye mmezembea kama vijana ama situation ndio mbaya?
Tujazembea, like hali ya vile nimekwambia, like there are some people who have degrees, there are some competent people out here. Like I don't understand how you'll give someone with a net worth of 2 billion a job that is paying less than 1 million, and still pia kuna a competent person with the same qualifications and even better qualification than that person here in Kenya, who doesn't even have a net worth of 10,000. So like we young people have solutions, and what the government is doing is they are not listening to us, they are not even listening to our ideas. Like you can see, like this revolution has been about tunataka kuwa tribeless, we want change, we want accountability, and still pia kwa wale ma CSS wenye wako hapo hivyo, there are many of them wenye wako na nini integrity, issues za integrity. Alafu pia we should just like kwanza tulisema hapo hivyo ati tunataka watu wawe charged ma CS. Firing someone is not enough, we want people to be charged hapo hivyo. And still pia unasema ati like a good dancer should know when to leave the stage. We don't want to leave the stage because the right things have not been done. We wanted people to be charged for the police officers who are doing the extrajudicial killings to be charged. Like we don't want police brutality anymore, and we don't want peer lies. Like the president lies a lot. He's the same person that said he will not borrow pesa, and in record what he has borrowed in this, not hajakaa hata kwa president kwa hiyo kiti for 2 years. The amount of money that he has borrowed is more than enye Uhuru alichukua in 5 years last time yake. And pia hapa akisema like ukiniambia like the president is not a liar, he lies a lot. Like juzi, alafu pia he forces things like he's like something like the house levy. Like right now the people who are working for government are being deducted pension twice. You're not even listening to those people. You just want at force to, and it's our money. And when it comes to something that I'm working hard for, you should be able to consult me and say, is this good? He's not doing that. Like you, my brother also here has complained about the police officers. Like he has also lied to the police officers, and as you have said, he's a smart person. He will trick you. He'll trick you. Like police officers were added something like 4,000. 1,000 is going to taxes. And before he came to power, the police officers were not being deducted the house levy. They were not being deducted the pension twice. And when ukipiga tu mahesabu zako, there is nothing that has been done to these people. And one thing pia naweza sema, like the reason why kuna kuangana hizo kesi za corruption, like police brutality, unapata these people are depressed. Their living conditions are bad. Like jana I was heading to the CBD and I was stopped kwa roadblock moja. Askari ananiambia hata tujakula lunch. Just imagine. And we want the president to do the right thing, and if he doesn't do the right thing, he should just resign. Yeah. And we give someone that job.
You as a former police officer yourself, what do you think is missing? Is it the training? Is it individual police officers just deciding to be brutal? What happens? Because most of us, we have not served in this service, but you've been there. So is it that you get the wrong orders, or is it the training? Is it that the civilians provoke you? What happens?
I can't say that the civilians provoke the police, because what I've been witnessing, it was peaceful protest. Akuna, like those people who were shot outside the parliament, there was no a single person who was carrying a stone. There was no a single person there was no police, akuna life ya police officer ilikuwa in danger. What I can say that kuna kuangana unconstitutional orders unaambiwa do this. And pia kuna,
so ni mabosses wanawaambia,
yeah, and if you don't do it, utakuwa transfer, utaenda mbali, utafanyiwa kitu mbaya. Like what was done to me, and what was done to me, there's nothing I've done wrong that is in the constitution of Kenya, but because there's some people who will just say this in government and it happens, it will be done. And another thing that the police officers are going through a lot, and the pay is poor. Even at like right now, what's happening, watu wanadharau maskari, and it's not a good thing. And not all police officers are rogue outside there. Kuna wengi ni wazuri, and they are ni wase wenye wezi juu kusema no, juu wakisema no utafanya vibaya.
So nyinyi mkipewa orders ni hivyo, hakuna ati kunegotiate?
Wakipewa orders ni hivyo.
Unawatoka. Okay, so Peter, yes, you want to respond to this. Have the young people pulled their weight? Because there's a push and pull here. Like, are they really doing their part? And you also mentioned that there are opportunities out there, but they're claiming that it's just a situation that is so difficult that they can't do it. In fact, what someone was saying, that lower the taxes so that we give us a level playing field so that we can do something. And also Jackson is saying that why do you employ people who are worth billions and there are those who are not worth anything and they have better papers? So isn't this situation a bit skewed?
My opinion, first of all, I would like to differ with my brother here, Jackson. Number one, let our engagements be solution-based. Apart from complaining, let us come up with solution, mitigative strategies that will help us move forward. Because the way you listen to him is as if he has a personal beef with the president.
It's not interesting.
Most of the time is just the president has done this, the president has done that. So now the issue should be, we the youths, we have our demands. We identify the spaces that at least we can come out and occupy these opportunities. This and this is not done right. How best can we do it? Can we come and provide the solutions? That should be the cornerstone of the discussions. So these are the solutions. So, and this is what we need done. Because now a platform has actually been made and people are ready to listen. Everybody, whenever a youth speak, whenever Gen Z speaks, they will love to listen to what this Gen Z is talking about. Yeah. So if we base our conversation in the solution aspects, it will really help us in bringing a strategy that will push the agenda.
The solution of reforms. Zakayo must go. That's the solution that we want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a solution?
Yes, that's also a solution.
It's according to him, according to his views, is a solution. But for me, I believe that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with that one conspicuous step.
Okay.
I think the country is heading somewhere. And a journey of change normally takes time. It's barely, I think it's about 3 years. So now I'm trying to look at the opportunities that the president has been talking about. Me, for instance, I will speak categorically on matters to do with climate change. Because the conversation, as I had stated, is all about climate financing. We'll be having COP29. How many youths have come out to dominate those positions, to dominate to be at the negotiation tables? That is one of the fundamental things and the objectives that we need to come out. So my views is, let us go back to the drawing board as the use of this country.
Okay.
Let us identify our strengths. We also identify our weaknesses. Apart from that, let us do a background check of how we would want to soldier on, because we believe that a vision is normally planned, a vision is normally strategized, and a vision is worked into it. So if joblessness is the order of the day, how do we create opportunities for these youths? How do we deal with this situation? So these are kind of the things that we need to have. Platforms. We need platforms for youths to be sitting down to deliberate. This is a gap. This is how we can seal the gap. This is how we can do it. We can incorporate each other. And I know once that is done, we'll be able to move forward to the journey that we really want to reach to.
All right. Kelvin, you wanted to respond to Eugene, first of all, before you now give us what do you think is the way forward for the younger generation?
Yes, I wanted to...
Have they achieved what they really set out to achieve?
Yeah, before I answer that question, I would like to clarify something he said. He said the president does not lie. During his manifesto, I'm one of the people who voted for President Ruto. During one of his manifesto, he said he's going to reduce taxes. What happened in the first 2 years in presidency? The taxes went up. We've seen president making many promises to us. For example, Trevor, do you know within Nairobi, let me just use Nairobi first before we go home. Do you know any road that was not there in 2022 but it's now there right now? None, but you're paying fuel levy. So when we say he's lying, we have justifiable facts. President Kibaki was sworn in on 31st December 2002, but by January, free education was already implemented. So when we say we need more time to implement some things, then I think we're actually not being realistic, because we have seen previous regimes doing something within a short period of time. Again, another thing he has talked about is creating jobs like 2,000 nurses to send to Saudi Arabia. Okay, personally I have not seen that, but what I've seen in Saudi Arabia is taking our young men and women to go and work as those jobs that are not really conducive. President has been pushing to get jobs abroad, let's say US, UK. Now, if everyone goes to work in the US, who will build Kenya? So can we have jobs in Kenya so that we build our country, so that we can become Singapore? We cannot become Singapore when you're working abroad, when you're building other nations. So let's start from home. Let's have a good number building home before we go to build other countries. It's okay, it will help us to get money, yes, when we get employed abroad there. But no, home will lag behind, so we can build first home. My friend Jackson here talked about something good. He said that we have police brutality which must stop. We've seen even the IPOA is not helping. Now, those are the objectives we need to bring on board so that we can call people on demonstration for them. Not really saying Ruto must go. So when you tell people, let me say even the media, you tell them that we want to demonstrate because our citizens are being killed recklessly. We've seen videos of police officers shooting at unarmed protesters aimlessly, but IPOA has not done anything. Those are now objective reasons we can tell people, can we go to the street for this? But if you tell people, let's go and send Ruto home, have we provided a solution to police brutality? The answer is no. Probably the person who is coming again is coming to be worse than whoever was there. So what I'm trying to say here is, if we have clear objectives, even if another person comes in, he or she will know that this is what young people want. They want police brutality to stop, and this is the solution we want. We want IPOA to take actions against those people. We saw them. There was an officer who was just entering into a car, police car, and turns behind and shoots a protester. just aimlessly. So what have we done as a country? Nothing, but we can say Ruto must go. So we have not provided solution to these people who are shot. During the protest, I think after the finance bill on 25th, I was also there on 25th June, and one of the police officers actually hit me. Up to date, I feel bad, but at least there was at least that hitting was really meaningful, because at least the finance bill went home. The president went down, came to us on X. I'm one of the people who use X frequently. He asked us, what do we want? If you are following, if as media you are following that chat, did you get anything meaningful from the conversation? That we can push for the president to ask him, you promised us we'll do this on X. Did we? Did you tell him anything? Actually, we did not tell him anything. So what we are saying is, can we come up with clear objectives that we can even force the president to implement them? Not just saying you are bad. When he calls us, we run away. Let's come to the table boldly and tell him, no, Mr. President, corruption is actually disturbing us. Police brutality is disturbing us. We want our JSS teachers to be employed. We want our young people to get work, not to be sent abroad to be molested in Saudi Arabia or those other countries. So those are the things we're looking for.
But people say that they've already stated all those things you're saying online, or do you feel like it needs to be now written almost like
yes, now that's what I'm saying. Sort of... That's what I'm saying. They have been stated online. Now, when we go to the streets, can we now put them as the agenda?
Yeah.
Because now when we go to the street, like, let me take example of yesterday. Among those agendas that were posted, did you see any of them to the agenda? No. So we are saying if we want to go to the street, let's now put those things there as our agenda, and we'll achieve them.
So you think is dialogue a better option to take? Because
yes,
this was the first thing that was suggested by the government, which was rejected by the Gen Z.
Correct. You see, as a Gen Z, we created, okay, I'm a millennium, but we were among the people who were protesting also because I was there physically. We created a vacuum. The president wanted, let me use the word desperate, okay, it might not be have been desperate, but I can use the word desperate. The president was desperate. What can we do at this moment when he dissolved the cabinet? As Gen Z, did you present anybody there? Did you present a list of people you're proposing, this one can put there? No. So the opposition took advantage. They went to the government and they're there. They produced their people. Honorable Raila produced 4. The DP produced his list. People from Western Wetangula produced his list. Gen Z and Millennium produced none. So what we are saying is that we are actually talking about a problem, but we are not really suggesting what can be done. If I see you are doing something wrong and I cannot suggest to you what I want you to do, so what will you do? You'll actually do what you want, not what I want, because I've not given you anything that you should do for me.
Okay. Eugene, so going forward, what should the young people do? Because they had said that yesterday's Nane Nane was the final protest. Did they achieve what they were looking for? And now how do they achieve it going forward? Should they then now call for a dialogue as young people? What should they do now?
You know, Kenyans, or rather my fellow young people, amaze me. The reason why they amaze me is they are making us look more stupid and dumber than ever before. We seem we are so brilliant and bright online, but when it comes to airing or rather giving solutions, we are nowhere to be seen. The reason why I'm saying so is none of us wants the president to borrow. Also, at the same time, none of us wants the president to tax us. Then you ask them, how do you want government to deliver services? You don't want the government to borrow. You don't want the government to raise taxes, or rather to get taxes from the Kenyans. As the Constitution stipulates, these countries are sovereign state, whereby the people are the supreme. If the people are supreme, it means we are supposed to be party to anything that happens in this country. He has said, when the president said, when he gets into power, he will not raise taxes. But I'm sitting here asking myself, that's okay. We have a 10 trillion debt. How do we expect the president to deliver development issues at the same time we expect him to pay for the debt? This debt wasn't borrowed during his tenure. These are the debts we are paying now. They have just matured right now and he's supposed to pay. These are the debts taken by his predecessor, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta. But no one wants to face it right and say, this country was messed up by Uhuru Kenyatta. This country got into debt by Uhuru Kenyatta. The police brutality started during his tenure. People abductions have been there during his tenure. Even Mwaniki has never been found. He was abducted in broad daylight. He has never been found. The families are still crying. So if we say we want the president to do 1, 2, 3, he has demonstrated that. He is listening. But then we are not giving him what we want to do. So this is what I'll ask my fellow young people. If you look at it, they are pushing for the dissolving of the parliament by the gender rule, by the 2/3 gender rule. 2/3 gender rule, it only stipulates for women. It does not say anything on the youth. It does not say anything on the boy child. How about if this country really means well for the young people, if the Gen Zs, if the people who are pushing for this protest means good for the young people, why can't we come up and push for a referendum? The president has already insinuated that we can go for a referendum. If we are going for a referendum, why can't we as young people say, we don't want a gender rule passed in parliament or rather in courts, we want a 2/3 youth rule, so that whoever is in parliament is below 35 years of age, or rather the 2/3 of the parliament is of the young people. Look at the current parliament. The current parliament, they say it is being controlled by the executive. What do we expect? How do you expect someone in their 50s with businesses, with all political interest, you expect them to pull, or rather to push for what is good for the people, or rather for the young people? That is where we are losing it, Trevor. We said we don't want the finance bill passed. We rejected the finance bill. But we don't have the numbers. In fact, majority of us young people, we did not vote. Even the way my friend is saying, we are saying we don't want the President Ruto in State House. But if he leaves today, trust me, it is my generation who will not come out to vote for whoever they think is right.
We will.
That is the point where I get mad at my fellow young people. You suggest problems, but you don't give solutions. You're saying, he has stated here categorically, the taxes have been raised. Then I'm asking myself, he has said there is no developmental action happening. But does he know the Eurobonds are due to be paid? Does he know that there is content monetization that has been approved? Now the young people can benefit from that. If you look at it, the people who are pushing these nane, they are doing it on TikTok, or rather online. They are doing it for them to make content and make money out of it. But think of it, if we do it categorically and say, Kazi Mtaani is coming up, the president has already announced. Why can't we sit on the table and tell Mr. President, we don't want ile Kazi Mtaani, ile ilikuwa ya kufieka. We want a digitized Kazi Mtaani. We want a Kazi Mtaani whereby people went to school, people who did not go to school gets a chunk of it. But he has given also another alternative, and I don't agree with it. You're saying the people who are doing Mjengo are not people with degrees. That is why we go wrong, Trevor. We have made education look like the only thing out of your poverty. Skills is the only thing we need as young people. You don't need education. Our education in these universities is no longer tenable. The people in the universities, the young people in the universities, they are focusing on drug abuse. The young people in the universities, they are focusing on immorality. The high level of immorality in this campus is on another level. If you look at it, sahi kuna mambo ya wamama, kuna mambo ya wababa. Vijana wengi wanaingilia mambo ya wamama. Vijana wasichana wengi wanaingilia mambo ya wababa. Simply because no one wants to work. Just the same
or because they're trying to survive.
Not
That's
really.
what we're saying. There are no opportunities. They're trying to survive.
You can't try to survive on an immoral ground. You can't say you're trying to survive, yet there are other people who have gone through the same trajectory, and they never did that.
A shortcut.
You see, this is the same mentality we are saying no to it. This is the same perception we are saying no to it. Our young people are being killed. Our young women are being killed. You can't say there's no way, there's no good thing in suffering. No, that is not a good perception we want in this country.
Okay.
All we want in this country, all we are asking for from the young people, or rather the Gen Z movement, is let us come out, let us stop looking like we don't know what we want. Okay. Let us come out and tell Mr. President, in each and every ministry, there is a youthful position. But in those positions, they are not young people, Trevor. That is where the rain started beating us.
Okay.
So how do we expect someone in a position that is not young to employ people that are young?
Okay.
It is immaterial. Okay. So as I wind up, I'm only trying to tell young people, we agree there is a taint in the government. We are not saying President Ruto is a saint, but we are saying protesting does not bring solutions. Okay. But saying, Mr. President, we want you to bring the change in this sectoral regime.
Okay.
That way, at least, we'll say the country has moved forward. Right. Let's say even in the sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me bring in Samuel first on this. Samuel, how should the young people strategize going forward now?
So I believe the young people should, instead of protesting, we can, okay, there are so many ways of protesting, by the way, of airing grievances. For instance, instead of moving with placards from one point of town, from one street to another, let's come up with, let's propose barazas.
Okay.
And invite these leaders. Let us propose barazas, and it reaches a point where this thing of, this notion of being tribeless and leaderless is becoming outdated. We need to get, I don't know whether outdated is the right term, but we need to find a situation where now we are giving shape into the Gen Z protests, because you cannot engage a group that is tribeless, that is leaderless, and what else? They're saying, my friend, because you are a proper
fearless
and formless and fearless.
Yeah.
So it reaches a point where, even if it is Kasmuel or who, let them come out, engage. Let's have these barazas, invite the leaders.
Way.
Yeah, formal one.
Okay.
Invite the leaders. Let's tell them what's supposed to be done. Let's propose what's supposed to be done. And now, because we are quickly running out of time, allow me a minute or so to delve into the issue of JSS teachers.
Yeah.
I would like to appeal to the Ministry of Education, the Treasury, to go ahead with the plan. What the President said, because we saw it was in the supplementary budget, there was some allocation for the JSS teachers. Yeah. We would really appeal to the government to make this materialize, because these teachers have suffered. Yeah. They are qualified, but they are earning peanuts. Somebody is working in Nairobi with a salary of about 18, because after reduction, it is 20 minus about NHIF, NSSF, it's about 18,500. So that one is not likely to sustain somebody, a graduate who's working in a school. And then two, they should find a way of, the working environment in primary schools is not very conducive for these teachers.
Okay.
So that environment, we would like a situation where it is separated. But if possible, let the JSS, those junior secondary schools, be put under management by competent secondary school teachers who are in administrative positions.
Okay.
And lastly, because my brother took a little bit of time, but because we are respectful, we didn't intervene. So, honesty among politicians is something that we would like really to advocate for. So I would urge Gen Zs, if you want to go forward, let's avoid getting the advice from the politicians. But now, when the demonstration started, the problem is somehow when it about the second week, entered the second week, walikuwa nasema Babu Owino must go, and Babu has been fighting for this whatever. The same people. So walikuwa nasema we want a clear. You cannot clear the entire system.
So they turn against.
It has never. They turned against themselves. You even saw Babu Owino climbing the gate to join them, but they are still shouting that all these people must go. Now that's where we miss it. That's why we miss the point, because we are chasing. That's like I said, a black cat in darkness. We don't have specific. When you say Babu Owino must go, Raila must go, and then again, once Raila goes to the State House to talk to President Ruto, then we again turn against him. So we must be very clear as a country what we want to achieve.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Okay. Jackson, what is your strategy going forward? Ni mnapangaje sasa?
Sisi as young people, kwanza I want to urge the young people, let us to see energy, to see teremsha chini. Alafu, this is not the final protest. It's not going to be business as usual. Tuko na miaka 3 hapa hivi, and we are going to employ every tactic zenye tutafanya zakayo washuke, because tunapitia nje, and a fish usually rots from the head. And you can't tell, tuliambia like the president, CS kuna wenye incompetent, and akawafire, and people resigned, the IG resigned, and the person who nominated the IG for that position is the same president. So what the solution is the president has to resign. The president has to go because he's the one mwenyali, and you cannot say ati juu wale wa CSS walikuwa incompetent na yeye pia ndiye nominate hawa, hakuna vile tunaweza kuwa sure like hawa pia watakuwa incompetent. And there are so many methods we are going to use. We are going to tell one of our loyal MPs, someone like the incoming governor of Nairobi, Babu Owino, a table a motion to parliament, you could impeach the president. If still bado pia ma MPs watahongwa wakuwe against that motion, tutarudi tu pale kwa our constituency, tutaanza we have 3 years, tutaanza ku recall moja, tunarudi pale tena hivyo. Like, it's not going to be business as usual.
All through. Because, you know, some of you have said that Nane Nane was the last protest. You're saying it's not the last protest. Na hapa ndio penye shida inatokea. Because watu wanasema, so nani anasema ukweli, nani anaongea on behalf of the team? Who do we believe?
I think, like, tunasema, like, there is no leader kwa this revolution. Our leader is the Constitution of Kenya. Okay. And if tukianza kusema ati kuna mtu anasema, that's not and that's where tuna lose focus. Ni kama tu vile tu watu walikuwa wanasema Raila ndio kusema, and Raila akichukua wrong direction, ni yote mko hapo na mnamwagika naye. So sisi, our leader is the Constitution of Kenya. If these things are going to vile zinaendelea hivi, we are going back to the street because it's our right, constitutional right. Yeah, so hivyo tu ndio iko.
Okay, Peter.
Yeah, for me, I will present a solution.
Yeah.
The way I'd mentioned that our discussions need to be based on solution. As a foundation, we have an activity, an initiative, Youth Ambassadors. We have currently identified the ambassadors from every county who are going to help us spearhead most of the initiatives that themselves have come up with. Let me just give you a heads up of the findings. We have received over 1,600 application requests. These youths have ideas. The process was to have a strategic plan. How are we going to get to those youths down there? In line with our economical model from bottom coming up. So we decided to be strategic as a foundation. We decided we need to onboard these people because we believe that the youth have ideas. We have gone through the process where we have identified these youths. Then these youths, we are not the ones that are going to be giving them projects to run. They are the ones who are going to identify the projects at the county levels. There is that system that we have come up with, and we believe that it's going to help so many youths in various counties.
Yeah.
All the 47 counties, we will be accommodated.
Okay.
Is that not a strategy? It's a strategy to see on how these youths are going even to be motivated, because it's all about motivation. Most of the youths, they will want to be heard. That's what you are seeing. So, and for us, we want to hear what they have and how are we going to do it. Help them walk the journey.
Okay.
So it's a journey of 1,000 miles, I had stated, and it has actually begun. We'll be making our announcements very soon. Every county will at least have 2 youths. And from that, those youths are going to control the activities in their various counties. So that's when now we can able to even come to government. We tell government we have this and these initiatives. We'll want your input. At least they will see a very structured way of running things. We have documented every activity that we have done. Yeah. The processes have been documented from step 1. They start how we had our poster, we announced, then we called for application, the youths applied. Then in that process of application, it has gone through a scrutiny. We have scrutinized. Right. Because at the end of the day, in a competition, you always have the best.
Okay.
So, and these the best are going to help us carry and also nurture the others. Okay. So it becomes a systematic way of doing our things. Okay. And those are the kind of things that we youth need to come out and champion for. We have a governance, a way of governing our things. It will really help us to position ourselves, that's number 1. It will really help us to see on how we are doing what? We are creating opportunities for each other.
Okay.
So for instance, you can imagine the magnitude of what will be birthed from the whole exercise.
All right.
Yes, so I think moving forward, these are the kind of strategies that we need to put in place as the youth of this country and go for these opportunities. At the end of the day, people want to know, what do you have? Even Moses, biblically, if I allude from the Bible, God asked him, what do you have? Moses had a rod. So for us, what do we have as youth of this country? So we need to have a structured, systematic way that is meticulous to see on how we are going to bring change and transformation, because we have the powers.
Let's bring up the feedback and see what you're seeing online. At Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV, can you use the hashtag Daybreak? Let's see that, because we've run out of time here completely. Let's bring that up really quick and see what your response is. Engineer Lazaro says, Gen Z, please change tack by engaging government in a well-structured dialogue. Your consistent protest slowly losing objectives and trajectory. Okay. Alex Mayore says, I disagree with Eugene totally. He's talking the language of the state. The Youth Governing Council isn't enough to address the challenges we face as a nation. The protest isn't inspired by youth wanting positions in government. It is inspired by a desire for reforms. Okay? He continues to say, good morning, Daybreakers. I would like to commend the former police officer Jackson. People like him give me hope, even in these highly difficult times in Kenya. I hope the government releases all the people who were arrested yesterday during the protest. I believe that's what you wanted to say. Sam Masika says, arrest you and find you innocent, then stuff marijuana in your pockets and charge you for it. This is what Jimmy Wanjigi is going through. Why would Jimmy have tear gas canisters in his vehicle? Okay. Gabi says, Kenyan youths, the opposition is in bed with the government. They are sharing plates and pants. The offspring is a corrupted breed. Whom will we cry to? Where will our demands be met? Kenyans, let us revisit this come 2027. Okay. Eric says, focusing on political charisma while Kenyans' future is being compromised. That's what the young boys in the studio are missing. We are really missing the real issues. Tell the young Kenyans in studio that the position they are holding right now will continue to say, will what? Okay. You say, suspended police officer Shakur doing the Lord's work. Okay. Remy Butia says, young people have a massive stake in the decisions that shape the country. Nearly all issues affect youth, and many affect youth differently or uniquely. Thus, focusing on youth civic engagement is critical. Frank Orinde says, the youth must now strategize to give into active politics and vie for some of these elective positions, carry out civic education, register as voters, campaign for your candidates and vote them in. After that, hold them accountable. This is just one of the strategies. Okay. Jemusila says, they say nane ilikuwa ya mwisho, but does it suspend Article 37 of the Constitution? Yani hata kesho, people can be on the streets until there is justice and Kenyans live a dignified life. The streets will be the darling. Peter says, protests have greatly affected the Kenyan economy for the past 1 month. Kenyans expect the president to appoint Gen Zs to government going forward. Okay. Jackson, just as we close in this, do you regret what you did?
Regret anything that I did, and I didn't, because I didn't do anything that's against the Constitution of Kenya. I'm a person, if someone does wrong, even if it's my senior, even if it's my dad, even if it's my older brother, I'll come, it's out of respect, I'll come and tell you, we are heading to the wrong direction, and I don't regret anything. And just like someone has said, I think I'm just a vessel that is being used by God, because I did not do anything wrong, first of all, and the Lord is good. There is a better future coming, and
Would you want to be reinstated as a police officer?
I don't know about that, but what I want to, I'll continue fighting for the people of Kenya. At some point, I'll resign my job, and I'll come into the political space to continue championing for the right of the police officers, continue championing for the rights of the young people of Kenya. That's what I'm looking for.
So you're hoping to vie in 2027?
Maybe, and because that can help in bringing solutions to...
Okay. Yes. Okay, Samuel, we really ran out of time.
Kindly, just a minute. Something has just rang my mind, that most of the people we see on the streets, the current president was a deputy president when they lied to them that they will give laptops. So I don't know whether the ghosts have come to haunt him. Maybe, but I would like to congratulate the athletes who've represented Kenya well in Paris, including Yego, who finished in the 5th position after injury. So just to urge the government to support such talent, because we've seen a situation where so many talents are moving outside the country to go and represent other countries like Bahrain, while we have our country that they can represent. So just to urge the Ministry of Sports to look into the Kipchumba Murkomen, to look into the issue of talents, so that they don't flee.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen, for making time this morning. We really ran out of time. Coming up next is DJ Demakufu on the decks. All right. Have a fantastic weekend ahead.
Yo, wanacheki moshi wanashtuka Kobo Master Mwaki na show bado mzuka. Guda ndani ya Hot 96 toka saa 1 usiku. Master lighter ukisikia na kohoa na roroa stress za mchana kwa redio usiku minatoa. Msikie fiti alafu mlale poa. Tupatane baadaye. Hype grade Joe Alai. Hype grade Joe Alai.
Hot 96.
Masaa matatu samaki hamna kazi gani?
Tekeshewe mwambie bahari wanatawe, tekeshewe jeni ndagoma Jindagoma dede Jindagoma
Sikiliza Bahari FM ili upate maarifa zaidi.
Yapo majina yenye sifa.
Join us this Sunday as we fellowship together at Kiriri Women's University of Science and Technology.
Na shule hata kuna boy.
Hello, mambo? Admin iko wapi? Uko?
Uko na form tupatane after church, tupatane after church, tupatane after church. Uko na form tupatane after church yao. Kwa siku zote standard the best, lazima nitunge.
Excuse, mambo? Niuliza swali. Wanaume leo hawajakuja shule?
Ati umesema?
Wanaume hawajakuja shule.
Baba, nishikai. Soma nisome hapo juu.
Kiriri Women's University of Science and Technology. Ndio maana jiji hajakuja.
Imagine.
Sina maanisha hicho ni ya madem. Sina maanisha Bambika chakoti ya madem. Mapinduri ya Bambika.
Bambika from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Citizen TV.
Imperfections, blackheads. Try Garnier's Pure Active 3-in-1 Charcoal, powered by salicylic acid and purified charcoal to reduce pimple-causing germs by 99.5%. One product, 3 uses for a pure skin. Garnier Pure Active 3-in-1 Charcoal, #1 in South Africa. By Garnier, naturally.
Kama ungelipenda wimbo wangu wa Mungu Baba, iwe sikiza tuni yako ni rahisi. Bonyeza *811*575# na ukumbuke sikiza na Citizen ndio nyumbani wa wasanii wote.
What job do you do?
I manage a greenhouse.
I'm so fond of flowers, if you can see, trees, nature in general.
Well, then I should invite you for a tour.
Stand a chance to win your share of 160 million and 1 millionaire to be announced weekly.